Okay, so we are into chapter 7. I'm going to skip over chapter 6 because I've just kind of had it with talking about the history of technology. I want to get into the goods. I want to talk about technology, some of the advances. The first, chapter 7 talks a lot about computer-aided dispatch and things like that, and the 911 system, which is fine. Let's talk about that. Let's stop talking about history. Let's talk about what's going on right now in police technology. So I hope you had a good last week. I made it real light for you so that you could handle your videos, video uploads. A little scary fact for me was as of yesterday, only 2 people had uploaded their videos. So hopefully everybody gets their videos uploaded. I got a couple calls today from people trying to upload them. You know, you've known about it for 2 or 3 weeks. You've had it all week with nothing other than a discussion board and the video to do. So I really hope that you took the advantage of that time and got your videos done with 25 points. So hopefully you got that squared away. So anyway, so let's get into the chapter. Oh, and by the way, Ryan, thanks for posting your video for everyone to see. You did a good job, and that was a good example for others to take a look at, and and see how things were going. So, all right, so here we go. So let's talk about 911 system. So, so I did not know the story about the founder of the telephone, calling Mr. Watson and telling him that he burnt acid on himself and that he needs help. So the first use of the telephone, apparently, according to the text, was for emergency service purposes. And then it only took 91 years after the first use of the telephone to develop 911. So 911, great technology. Everybody knows about it. It's a great system across the world. I got friends in El Salvador that will tell me about 911 in America. It's very well known. It's very talked about and taught to other nations. What is interesting about 911? It wasn't even founded by the cops. The firemen founded the 911 system. It was the International Association of Fire Chiefs. So I was reading this. I just when I glanced over, my mind said International Association of Chiefs of Police. Nope, it wasn't them. It was the firemen who created the 911 system. Apparently, they need some things to do while they're sitting around the fire station thinking about fighting fires. So, anyways. Good work, firemen, for that one. It's been a great service and great technology for us. So before, probably 10 years ago in our region, maybe a little longer, we started to see, these signs that said, we now have e911. I mean, you would see as you go into a county, welcome to Huron County. We have e911. It was something to be very proud of because prior to e911, they were reliant on you telling them where you lived. There was no system in place for the dispatcher to know where you lived. When you called, you had to say it. Well, E911 popped up your address and populated that information for the dispatcher so they have all of your information. So let's talk about that for a minute. We're still running into some issues with this. Let me tell you the biggest issue with E911 right now that we're seeing. IP-based phones. So a lot of these phones, like a Vonage phone. Vonage phone is a great example. So Vonage phones, the system is not through. The system is ran through the phone. Okay. So like I have an internet phone at my house. I went out and bought a phone from Walmart to plug in. So I can't take that phone anywhere else other than my house and have it work, right? I mean, if I took it to another place, it would work off their phone line. It's my phone line operating that. Well, these Vonage phones simply all operate off of the internet. So they can be plugged in any internet connection. You are activating that specific phone. And so that's great. There's no problems. You call in, you activate the phone. You say, I live at 123 Main Street, Marietta, Ohio. And they register that phone. So when that phone calls 911, it goes to Marietta City Police Department. It tells them 123 Main Street, Marietta, Ohio. Here's the problem. You can take your Vonage phone and you can go to a hotel room. And you can plug your Vonage phone into the jack there and make telephone calls over the internet. And if you call 911, it's going to say 123 Main Street. Marietta, Ohio, is going to go to Marietta, Ohio. You know, if you move and don't update your Vonage phone, you think, oh, it's no big deal. Why would I need to update that? Because of the emergency services functionality of that. And so that's something that we're running into a problem with. Another one is cell phone towers. So where does your cell phone call go? How does it know what 911 center to send it to? Well, there's a couple techniques. One is using towers that it bounces off of. One is using a more sophisticated GPS. So I'll tell you, in the city of Marietta, Washington County, that we live in, if you make a cell phone call from inside the city limits, your call is still going to go to the Washington County Sheriff's Department. All 911 calls are going to the Sheriff's Department because that's how those towers are set up. They know, hey, listen, this is coming in on a Washington County tower. It needs to go to the Sheriff's Department. The Sheriff's Department can determine if they want to send that 911 call to the city or where it needs to go. So there's a couple techniques. Here's the, I mean, as technology is advancing, we are able to focus in using GPS signals on people and find their location that way. Before, it was not that easy. I remember this one case we had where we were working a girl who called and said she was being abducted and attacked. And I mean, this was pretty recent. This was like 6 years ago. And so we call the telephone company. We get a search warrant for the phone location. And so all the phone company can say is say, hey, listen, the signal bounced off of this tower and this tower, which puts her in this city. Now, they were correct about the city. We were able to call that city PD and track her down that way, but they weren't able to give it an exact GPS location. Now, times are changing, man. I tell you what, Secret Service has a system where they can reverse, basically secretly reverse call your telephone, and track the GPS location just like you were calling. So if you call me, that's giving me phone information, and so we can track you doing that. Well, now with these new systems, they can kind of like call you, but not let you know that it's being called. Your phone's being called, and track your GPS location that way. We saw that used actually by Secret Service live during a bomb threat, and they were able to track down the person using that system. So some pretty cool technologies. CAD, computer operated dispatch, computer automated dispatch programs. Different agencies have different use for them. For us, it's a huge advantage for our dispatcher to be putting information into the system so that the officer doesn't have to do that. So the dispatcher is already putting in caller information, dispatch time, arrival time, clear time, location, all this stuff. So when the officer gets back, all he has to really put in is suspect name and information, victim name and information, and narrative. He doesn't have to fill in all these different fields. So that's an advantage for us, a smaller agency. Bigger agencies, of course, it's an advantage to have a CAD. So you can keep track of your calls and know where everything's going and know where everyone is. So computer-aided dispatch, advantage to law enforcement for sure. Another cool thing about computer-aided dispatch, I'm going down to Florida State University here soon, hopefully, and I'll try and take a video of it. So they did a complete integration of all campus security systems to tie into one. So if I have an alarm on a door, that's going to come into my dispatch center. Using the same system is going to show me what vehicle to dispatch. Using the same system is going to pull up a camera of where that alarm is all at once. And so they're kind of tying and integrating in all these dispatch centers or systems. So that's what we're going to be seeing in the future is integration. Not using, like right now we use one vendor for videos, one vendor for card access, one vendor for our cameras, one vendor for our body cameras, one vendor for security alarms. We're going to see all that come in under one big, huge vendor. In fact, they are now. Not we're going to see it. It's happening now. And that big vendor will control all those accesses for us under one roof so that we can tap into everything and integrate properly with everything. So with that said, I guess that's it. I hope you guys have a good week. Shoot me an email if you got any questions. I hope you get your videos done. And enjoy your week. Thanks a lot. Have a good day.